Now I can empathize and sympathize with the Black community. I've never been able to do that before.
The Black American community historically has been the target of a lot of discrimination, especially from government and law enforcement officers. But that has changed since ICE is now targeting certain communities, in particular the Latinos. Now, with the Latino versus Black situation going on, many Latinos are having an issue that Blacks no longer want the solidarity with their groups.
Did you guys not know that there was slavery also in Jamaica, Panama, Cuba, Venezuela, Haiti, Nicaragua, Belize, Guatemala, and that we were all on the same slave ship, but some of us got dropped off at different ports?
This lady, who I believe is Dominican, is trying to basically say, listen, we all come from the same source and we were all dropped off at different ports with the slave ships. What's going on with this FBA thing? Why are we not in solidarity with one another? The delineation is getting real and some people don't like it, including people who historically wanted nothing to do with Blacks when it was Blacks getting all the nasty work in the first place. Remember that the Black and Brown coalition featured so many Black Americans showing so much respect and solidarity with Puerto Ricans and Blacks in the 60s. But as time went on and the Latino community developed its own flavor, it often forgot about the issues that Black America faced. And Black Americans stored this information in the back of their mind, understanding that the Latinos really didn't care for them as much as they thought they did. And this brings us to a situation today. A Latino man went viral on TikTok by giving a very weird apology to the Black American community.
Now I can empathize and sympathize with the Black community. I've never been able to do that before because I would hear them say things like, oh, we walk down the street and we get profiled and, cops will just suddenly stop and frisk or whatever just because of the color of their skin. And I always thought it's a little bit of a stretch. It feels like a little bit of a stretch. That person must be doing something, right? And obviously I've never experienced that before. I've never felt that way before and stuff. And so I always thought ignorantly, by the way, on my part, thinking I think you guys are, because I'm brown, I've never felt that and stuff like that, I'm also a minority. But now, with us, it wasn't the cops. Cops aren't just randomly go and checking in the past. But now it's our turn, right? Now we feel it. Now we feel like, crap, can I just go down the street? Do I need my paper? It's like, why are you stopping me? I'm a U.S. citizen. We're not doing anything wrong. And now we're being persecuted. And so now I'm thinking crap, this is what the Black community meant, and I kind of feel bad. Well, I feel bad because I never really could understand where they were coming from or where you guys were coming from. But I can assure you that now that it's here with us too, it's like, crap. I honestly, legitimately didn't think it was real. But it's real as hell. And it's obviously minority groups that are targeted and persecuted pretty much. And it's right now with us is because we're brown. You guys have had your turn when, cops were just in bigger cities, urban areas, stopping disproportionately, the Black community and stuff. And I just want to say, I guess now I understand. I think moving forward, there's going to be a little bit more unity because we now can see where you guys are coming from. Well, at least I can, And so, yeah, guys, I just want to say sorry for being ignorant before, but I hope this unites all communities, not just minorities, and call out things for what they are, regardless of the race.
Now, at first he admits that, listen, I used to hear about the complaints that Blacks had, and I thought that, well, you guys were just doing something, so that's what happened. And he admits that he typically never cared about the problems of Blacks. But now, since the ICE raids are coming about, he understands now that he and the people in his community are being targeted, and they are being targeted in similar ways as the Blacks have. And now what he believes is, since this has happened, and I understand what you're talking about, we should all be in solidarity and unite against a common enemy, because now I'm getting the same kind of work that you used to get in the past.
Boy, you don't sit your stupid ass down. Who the you think you is?
Now, this is interesting because I was listening to a young lady who happens to live in Chicago, and she posted something about Latinos in Chicago that I've never heard.
In Chicago in 2025, you still can't go into these Hispanic neighborhoods, especially Mexican neighborhoods. And if they invite you to a gathering that they having, 9 times out of 10, they gotta let their family know ahead of time that you black before you get there. Cause they know some of their family racist. They gotta tell them that you ain't gang banging. They gotta tell them that you good, you one of the good. You see what I'm saying? They do that now.
The same lady before in the same clip said that she saw Latinos being discriminated against at her job, and she stood up for those Latinos, and she got fired or almost lost her job, and the Latinos did nothing about it. But also, Latinos in Chicago do not mess with blacks. If you're trying to be their friend, they're very racist. They treat you very bad. You know, you have to explain to them or their family, if someone's inviting you over, that you're not a gang member, you're not this, you're not that. And they don't really deal with you. But wait, there's more.
But they'll move into our neighborhoods. They'll go buy a house and move into our neighborhood, walk they mother dogs, have their parties. Don't nobody with them. We leave them alone. But they not gonna stand up and say shit. They bring their tamale stands into black neighborhoods. They bring their corn stands into black neighborhoods. Black people patronize their businesses, eat their food, use their laundromats. They not coming in our neighborhood and putting no money into our neighborhood. They not with us.
Now she's like, listen, they have never dealt with us. They have never liked us. This is kind of what's been going on, and this is their attitude towards us. They even come into our communities. We patronize them, we support them, but they don't support us. Like, you know, we give them money, we support their tamale stands, but when it comes for us, they don't give that support back. And I noticed that this is the same complaint that some of the Black Americans are saying about other groups, including African immigrants. And so once people posted this, and this post is going on all over Black social media, people had a lot to say in the comments to the guy who wanted Black solidarity. This person says, Sir, we don't believe you. Banks.com says, good luck, Pedro. Safe journey back home. May the odds be ever in our favor. DJ Obsession, you got this, Hector. Flat-footed Pharaoh, it sounds like he's only capable of human decency and empathy now that it's happening to him, which isn't true empathy, by the way. Black Media Page says, we have no friends. The Infinite One lives. Dude, it's never our turn. This was so insulting. That's correct. He did say, now it's our turn, right? That sounded pretty insensitive. This other person goes, he's a day late and $1 short with this new foul sympathy. Ashabella said, he said it was your turn. It's still happening to us, and not just in inner circles. Everybody wants to unite when they need our help, but never wants to unite to help us. Now, this is something that's very true, especially when it comes to other groups that are not Black Americans. And we've been falling for that particular trick for a long time. And typically it's because the leadership of the party that we vote for, they recommend this kind of behavior. Look at Karen Bass, look at Brandon Johnson, look at Tiffany Henyard, look at Eric Adams for a while. All of these leaders, especially if you look at the National Urban League, you look at the Professional Black Caucus, all of these leagues are pro-Hispanic supporting leagues, right? Even the things that are for Blacks really advocate for, basically bowing down to the Latino community, and also showing a lot of respect to LGBTQ and transgender. It's almost like transgender LGBTQ is like number 1, the Latino community is number 2, and Blacks are number 3 in their own communities, right? In their own centers. But you cannot find a Hispanic center that talks about Black issues. They just don't. But you will always hear the National Urban League, the Professional Black Caucus speak on the behalf of uniting with Hispanics. but you would never have or hear Hispanic forums talking about the issues of blacks like they do in our community. And this does a disservice to blacks because it makes you much more weaker. And at the same time, Hispanics will continue to focus on what they have to focus on while our groups are being infiltrated and making us a low priority, even in particular spaces that were created for us. So this is a political strategy. Now, once it comes to a guy like this, this guy in TikTok, unfortunately, he understands that he's not as close to whiteness as he thought. Hey, you got to keep that same energy. Got to figure it out for yourself, because Black Americans have been figuring out for yourself. And the reality is that when you hear something like this, nobody trusts you. All right. Nobody can trust this. Nobody can trust you. You're not an ally. You don't bring anything to the table when you make statements like this. You don't have anything to offer. Standing together with you or anybody who thinks like you is not an option. Now, what blacks want to do, a lot of Black Americans want to stand by themselves with each other because they cannot trust people that talk like this. It's just like, oh yeah, I saw that, all that you're doing didn't make any sense, even though the civil rights of 1964, I believe, or 65, which was started by blacks, gave you the opportunity to be in America. We all know that blacks are being mistreated, but we didn't believe it because we thought you guys were lying the whole time. But oh yeah, by the way, we want you to help us because now the same is happening to us. And again, like, you just can't trust a guy like this. And I don't know the guy, he might be sincere, but hey, you got your community to focus on and your issues, and Black Americans have their issues that they need to be focused on by themselves. As far as a Black and brown unity, I do think there are good Hispanic people, just like I know there are people in the Black community that can be bad or good or whatever. But the reality is that what Black people want and what Latino want tend to be completely different and diametrically opposed. Now, maybe you have the same humanistic needs, but if the needs were the same, you would always see these communities working together because there would be an incentive to do so, but you don't, right? And the only people that try to make that happen is Democrats to get a minority vote. But outside of voting for a political candidate in a city like Chicago and New York City, these two communities do not understand each other. These two communities do not interact with each other. If they do, it's for a short period of time. And these two communities don't look at each other as allies in most parts of the country in which they live and work. And they go to different churches, they eat different foods, they have different customs, they have their own way of doing things. And so that's just typically what it is. Doesn't make it bad, it's just what it is, all right? And there's really not an incentive for the communities to come together because they've tried that and it just hasn't worked, all right? It hasn't worked. So guys, what do you think? It's your boy, Ashley Jackson, back at it again with another episode of The Celebrity Chunk. I appreciate you for all that you do. Subscribe to the bell. We're out.